Hello and welcome along to another how-to video guide for doing things on your E39 M5. Today we're going to be looking at changing the clutch fluid, as that never seems to get changed when people bleed for brakes and do a brake fluid change. And it's very easy to do, normally easier to do with two people, but I'm going to show you today how you can do it on your own with relative ease. Parts wise, what you'll need is a tub so you can catch the old brake fluid, 10mm spanner, 8mm spanner, a couple of screwdrivers, and that's about it really. So first things we're going to do is remove the pollen filter housing. Very easy to do if you've never done it before. Unclip this, lift the lid out of the way, get a screwdriver or use your thumb to pop off the trim clips which hold the intake elbow. Remove the spring clip, then that will all lift out in one go. Once you've removed your pollen filter housing, this gives you the access to the master cylinder and brake fluid reservoir. The clutch system is fed from the brake fluid reservoir via a pipe around about halfway up the reservoir. This means that if you've got a leak on your clutch system, you're still going to have brake effort, because once it drops below this pipe for the clutch system, then you've still got enough fluid in there for the brakes to operate safely. So ensure that your system is filled up to the maximum to start with. Then we're going to go under the car and remove a piece of trim. Working from the passenger side underneath the car, we're going to remove this piece of plastic belly tray, quarter turn posi drive screws, and there are around about 8 or 9 in total, and we're just going to remove that and lower the trim piece out of the way, which will give us access to the clutch slave cylinder which is hiding up there. Once you get your piece of trim removed, then this is what we're going to be accessing, the clutch slave cylinder, and it's very easy to do. The little rubber cap on top here is what we're going to remove, then that will give us access to the bleed nipple, which is a 8mm spanner off the top of my head, or it might be a 7. On other BMWs with manual gearboxes, you may have a clutch delay valve fitted. That essentially reduces the amount of fluid return back when you lift your foot off the clutch to allow for a smoother gear change, but in reality it makes you change gears and your car kangaroo a bit, so you can remove that as well while you're at it. And you'll find that bolted directly to the back of the slave cylinder, so it's simply a case of removing the CDV, then bending the metal pipe slightly and attaching it back to the slave cylinder, and that will ensure that you've got nice smooth gear changes with full control over the clutch as you want instead of what the car wants. Once you've cracked off the bleed nipple, then you can attach your hose, then use a spanner to open up the bleed nipple, or if you've left it finger tight, just use your fingers. Then this will allow clutch fluid to start draining through the pipe and into your reservoir, what you're going to use to collect the used fluid in. Make sure that your pipe touches the bottom of the reservoir, as once it starts filling up, after we've pressed the clutch a couple of times, it's going to push fluid out. Then when you release the clutch, it's going to draw back some ever so slightly. So once there's enough fluid in the pipe, it won't draw any air back into the system, and it'll allow you to carry on pushing fresh clutch fluid through using the clutch pedal, and this will ensure that you've got a perfectly bled system with no air trapped in it at all. As you can see, there's fluid starting to flow down now, and some air bubbles are starting to come through, so there was a little bit of air trapped in this system from when it was previously done. It's worth noting that the clutch part of the reservoir as you can see here, is empty, whereas the brake fluid side is full, as there is a little barrier in between. So make sure that your fluid is completely filled up before you start bleeding the clutch, otherwise you'll introduce air into the system and then you'll never be able to bleed it properly. If you're using a gravity bleed, by one long pipe into a cup of brake fluid on the floor, then ensure that this is absolutely 100% full, and that also the clutch pedal must be fully depressed into the carpet. It will hold itself there, otherwise you'll never be able to bleed the system through. Alternatively, if you're not using a gravity system to bleed up, then you can use a vacuum system. I'm using an oil suction tank with a little chamber to show how much fluid's coming through onto a clear pipe. Create a vacuum inside, which should be around about 18-inch vacuum. Then open up the bleed nipple, and then you'll be able to hear air being drawn through the system. Then periodically close the bleed nipple, go check for fluid upstairs and make sure that the reservoir is still full, and keep doing that until you're getting no air bubbles coming through the line. Once you've bled through some of the fluid, then with the vacuum bleeder or gravity feed, when you open the bleed nipple up, you should see clear fluid starting to come through with no air bubbles. And once it gets to that stage, then you are safe to go back up into the car and pump the pedal about 10 times. Then this will bring pressure back into the system, and you'll be able to then feel the pedal resistance and also the point where the clutch disengages. To hold the pedal to the floor, I've been using a spirit level rested against the seat squab. Once you've bled the fluid out, the pedal will stay on the floor. So if you pull it back up, then pump it a couple of times, then you should feel the resistance once the system has been fully bled, and that is how you bleed your clutch. Hopefully this video has been of some help for you. Any comments, then let me know. Subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll have some more videos for you in the future. Thank you.